So hopefully we can swoop up on her and catch her off guard.
Ed, you a fool!
Got that job done.
It's a dirty truth for Deante Young. Hit a main course, yeah, the entree done. Pull up on the gang, all the fly day ones. Tune in, come and see what Deante done. It's a dirty truth for Deante Young. Hit a main course, yeah, the entree done. Pull up on the gang, all the fly day ones. Tune in, come and see what Deante done. Like, just vibe with it.
Welcome to the Dirty Truth with Deante Young. I am Deante. Today's episode is called Going to Prison Saved My Life, and it features none other than the great Eben Reed, aka the Toe Goat. I love this conversation that we had because what it does is it shows the true side of greatness, what it's built on, the foundation, and all of the aspects that we usually don't have when we fail. But Eben Reed is a true American success story because he built his foundation on grit, determination, and faith in God. That's very, very important. Not only is he a master comedian, but he is a phenomenal entrepreneur. And so without further ado, the great Eben Reed. Oh, I have the superstar of all superstars here. You know, a lot of times people call you a TikTok superstar, a YouTube superstar, but the reality is I call you just a superstar, okay? Because what you're doing in life and in business is true superstar material. So I want to welcome the Toe Goat, the legendary star of Life with Eben Reed here, the Toe Goat, as you guys know him. It is great to see you, man. You are a true role model.
Man, I appreciate you for having me, man. Appreciate you for having me.
Actually, you having me because we're in your iconic shop. This is like being on the set of like Titanic or Training Day or something like that, man.
No, for sure.
Yeah, this place is really powerful, man. But yeah, I really appreciate you taking time out from your superstar schedule just to be able to have this conversation, man.
No, man, most definitely appreciate you, man. You know what I'm saying? Nothing like being around good energy, good people, man, and just like letting the people know what it is for sure.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you this, man. I always talk about the dirty truth, like I was telling you earlier about turning your trash into treasure. And I know everything looks magnificent now, and people are just like, man, how did you do this? How did you do that? And what you have as a secret that you like to share with people is that it's not about the glamour, it's about the grit that came before it. So first and foremost, I want to know, where exactly are you from? So we're going to go all the way back to the beginning. Where are you from?
I'm from here in Cleveland, man. I grew up on 79th Superior St. Clair area. That was my stomping ground. You know, my grandmother, they raised their kids over there. My grandparents actually raised me in that neighborhood. So, you know what I'm saying, that's pretty much where it all started. That's where I got a lot of my characteristics from, a lot of my hustle from, a lot of my grit from, you feel me, just growing up in that neighborhood and around the people in that area.
Okay. Yeah, I'm actually from 115th of St. Clair, so.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
Yeah, we pretty much from the same area. What school did you go to?
I went to East High.
East High.
Yeah.
See, I think I'm a tar blooder, so
okay, so I'm a bomber.
Yeah. See. Oh man. I don't know, man. It was
like, I don't know. It was a lot of feuds back then.
Yeah, a whole lot of feuds. But it's okay though. So when you were younger, did you have any aspirations to be an entrepreneur, or what exactly were your aspirations?
Man, honestly, man, like when I was younger, just growing up, like I said, I grew up, my grandparents didn't raise me, so they just pretty much instilled in me, go to school, get a good education, and get a job, you feel me? Like back then it wasn't really, I don't think a lot of that generation back then, where I was from, they really didn't have that entrepreneurial thing though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think growing up in the neighborhood that I grew up in, once I got in my kind of my teenage years, kind of instilled in me. You know what I'm saying, to go out and just make your own route. You feel me?
Wow. Yeah. It's one of those things where the way that we were raised was to just go and get a 9-to-5 job. And the older people, they don't really understand this is a completely different world right now.
Most definitely.
And it's so many people that will criticize the things. Oh, why are you doing that? That ain't no kind of, but they don't understand that the people that raised them were born probably in like the early 1900s. So they can only give them those types of tidbits, but this is a whole new generation now. Now, when you were going through school, were you considered popular or, somebody that everyone knew about?
Like, I wasn't really popular, I would say, but I was just like that quiet kid, man. Like, that stayed to myself. Like, I was super funny. Like, sometimes I was a class clown, you know what I'm saying? But I was just the one that everybody just pretty much liked, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't super popular, but I was the guy that pretty much, like, I could kick it with anybody in school, like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, and be cool with them.
Were you now? Was it a situation where you felt shy, or you just deliberately stayed quiet because that was your personality?
I think mostly that was my personality, for real, man. You know what I'm saying? I was just like that laid back person, man. Like, I just like to play basketball. I like to do what any normal kid would do, play sports, and I was into dirt bikes and stuff like that. You feel me? So that was my whole genre, for real, man.
Wow. Now that's powerful. So, did you ever go to college?
No.
Okay. So, when you got to this point right now where you're doing this, obviously this was a long time coming, and usually there's something that is a spark to get you to a certain place. Everyone talks about, oh, how I had to overcome this struggle, that struggle, whatever. I know we were at church the other day, and they were talking about how you had like this really, really very challenging experience. It looks like you were in prison for a while.
Yeah, I did 6 years.
6 years. So, what exactly happened to lead to that?
Man, like I said, my grandparents had pretty much raised me because my father, he went to prison when I was 7 years old. He got he was like a big time drug dealer, and the feds came and picked him up when I was like 7 years old. Then my mother, since she kind of once he went to jail, she was like left to fend for us, and what I'm saying, the streets kind of swallowed her up at the time though. So she got addicted to drugs, and that's what my grandparents and them had pretty much raised me, for the majority of my life. But then my mother, she kind of got back on her feet. You know what I'm saying? Later on, we was kind of like teenagers, like 16,
Yeah.
And she took back custody of us, and she had got married, and we was, you know what I'm saying, living the life that any, normal family would probably live. But my stepfather, her husband, had got sick, and he wound up, passing, and I guess it kind of took her down that path again. And so when she went down that path, like I say, it was me, my sister, my brother. Like, we stay in this house with sometimes no water, no electricity, sometimes no heat, and it's like when you in this environment where you see everybody selling drugs and getting money, you think that's the route that you got to go. You know what I'm saying, to make it out. So I had this good friend named Nate. And I went to him one day because he was a younger kid, but he was kind of in the streets already. And I asked him, like, man, teach me how to hustle. You feel me? And I was always one of them kids that was good at kind of manipulating my surroundings to work for me, So whatever I pretty much had to do, I pretty much adapted to it. You feel me? Like, and I wasn't doing no super street dude, but once they showed me the game, I was like, okay. It clicked, like, okay, this what I'm gonna do, and I was just pretty much kind of good at, making that stuff work for me.
Yeah.
So one thing led to another. First, it started off with the hustling, the weed, then it went to the harder drugs, then it ultimately went to like me, like stealing cars and stuff like that. You feel me? So if you ask anybody from my hood that about Ed back in the day, like, man, that dude used to steal, man. You come down my street, it's probably 6-7 cars parked up on the street, you know what I'm saying, all stolen, ready to get stripped down, you know what I'm saying. I was only like 16, 17 years old doing that, you know what I'm saying, to make money, you feel me. And it went to that, to robbing people though, you know what I'm saying. And a situation had happened where some guys had robbed me, and I went back, you know what I'm saying, retaliate, and that's when I had ultimately caught the aggravated robbery felonious assault charge that landed me, you know what I'm saying, 6 years in prison.
Wow. Now, when you had that happen, I mean, what was your initial thoughts? Because, I mean, if you're in that life, you had to have some idea that it was probably going to come down to something bad.
Yeah, like you think about it, but then you try not to think about it at the
Yeah.
same time, though. You know what I'm saying? Because some stuff be kind of inevitable. You
Yeah.
feel me? But you just do what you got to do, though. You be like, well, you know what I'm saying? Like if that day come, then I deal with it when it come. You
Yeah.
feel me? But like I said, I never thought I'd get sentenced to 6 years
Wow.
in jail. Not at all, man.
Well, now, were you up in where were you at? In was that Mansfield? Or?
Yeah, I was in Mansfield.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's crazy though because like when you hear about the stories of Mansfield, man, like I remember when I first got my papers, I was going to Mansfield. I'm like, hold on, man. I'm going to Mansfield. Like I never thought like I'd be one of them guys that be living that life of going down that road. You
Yeah.
feel me? But like I say, man, I remember when I did get sentenced to the 6 years. I was sick, but I was one of them guys like, you know what, I'm a man up. You know what I'm saying? Like I brought this on myself. You feel me? I let a lot of people. I felt like I let a lot of people down. You know, especially my grandparents that raised me, because they ain't raised me to be the type of person I felt I had turned out. So that was one of my biggest regrets. And I used to pray to God, man, every day, like, man, if you just let me make it home to see my grandparents still living, you know what I'm saying, and let them see me, you know what I'm saying, put forth the effort to change my life. Like I'm gonna do anything and everything that I got to keep that same energy. You
Yeah.
feel me? And God blessed me to come home. You know what I'm saying? And my grandparents were still living. And my grandfather, he was actually on his deathbed when I came home, though. You know what I'm saying? I think he had passed like 3 months after I was out. But I remember I came home, I got me a job, you feel me? And I remember like whenever I got a chance, I would go to their house, you know?
Yeah.
And just hearing them, because it's like some people, they can sense, man, when you ain't just talking.
Yeah.
You feel me? And I think they sensed that I was really about change. You feel me? And just to hear them say like, I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? That was just like a lot of fuel for me to honestly like just keep going, man.
Wow. Yeah, I tell you what, the thing is that when you're behind bars or when you're in any kind of situation where you're away from your loved ones, it's going to affect you on some level, even if you are like really, really hardcore. Now, when you have people at your, in your family that are going through medical issues and things like that, of course, the last thing you want to do is be behind bars and know that these things are happening.
No.
So I'm just really thinking that this probably really helped you grow as a person, because I know that when you were in prison, you actually grew as a person. Now, did it take long for you to get to that point to kind of humble yourself, or was it instant?
Honestly, man, like I tell people this day, everything I be joking, but I be like, man, when the judge said 6 years, bro, man, she could have been like psych and let me out of jail right then and there, and I probably would have straightened up though. You know what I'm saying? Because when you facing that type of time, it's different, man. Like your whole mental, like, and you gotta be strong, like, you feel me, to even go through anything like that. You feel me? That's why, like, I be seeing a lot of people be coming home and they don't really be the same though. But I'm glad God just blessed me with a strong mentality to just go in there. You know what I'm saying? Do what I had to do. You know what I'm saying? Try to learn from everything, and build on top of that.
Over the course of those 6 years, what exactly did you do to grow yourself as a person? Because you obviously found out that you were going down the wrong path. You didn't want to continue that. Some people come out and just get worse. You got better. What was that game plan behind the bars to say, you know what, I'm about to turn things around?
I think it's a lot of defining factors. Like one, like some of the people that you meet in there. You know what I'm saying? You got some dudes that you meet that they done made them mistakes and they ain't never coming home.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And you talk to these guys and you just feel like this, like gut-wrenching, like sickening feeling like that. This dude ain't never coming home. But I actually got a chance. You know what I'm saying? I got to take advantage of that chance. You feel me?
Yeah.
So just being around them guys and just talking, especially to the ones that was level-headed and wanted to give you the game. You know what I'm saying? And wanted to see you do the right thing. Also, man, just me just trying to learn as much as I could. You feel me? Whether it was just reading about business, reading about finances, just trying to learn as much as I could learn. I remember I had towing books when I was in jail. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what kind of even had me intrigued with the toe game. I just felt like it was something that was lucrative. You feel me? Because I look at it like my people always tell me, like, when you get in the field that where people don't want you, they need you. And I just thought that would be something where people always would need me. You know what I'm saying? So every time my little touring books, and I used to read them. And like I say, man, just trying to learn, just trying to suck up as much game as I could, though. You feel me? And always keep in the back of my mind, like, it could be worse. You know what I'm saying? I got to take advantage of any opportunity that I get once I get up out of here.
So when you were in there and you were really thinking about they would need you because, you know, who doesn't need towing? Did you conceptualize what type of business this would be? Was it just you getting into that? Because I don't know if you were thinking of putting this like on the internet.
No, I wouldn't. I was like super far from any of that at the time, though. Like I said, I just wanted to just put myself in a situation where I knew I could make money. You know what I'm saying? But I knew in the back of my head that I wasn't gonna just come out and be able to do it. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to try to figure something out once I got out, work or do whatever I had to do. You know what I'm saying? And luckily I was blessed with a job like a week after I had got out. You feel me?
Yeah.
I came home and this guy named Jimmy that I was locked up with, I wound up seeing him like a couple days after I was out. And he was dressed in a nice little suit. And I'm like, man, where you coming from? He like, I'm just coming from the job interview at Custom Rubber Court. I'm like, for real? I'm like, they hiring? He like, yeah. He like, they hiring like crazy. He like, bro, he go to information. He go to the website. He like, fill out the application and put me as a reference like I referred you. I'm like, all right, bet. So I was in the halfway house at the time. So I shot back to the halfway house. It was crazy because, like, from my first day out to that second day, I'm talking about I was on the internet just filling out mad applications, you know what I'm saying? And they had let me out to go, you know what I'm saying, fill out applications also. So I was filling out mad applications. So I put that application in. I didn't have a phone, so I gave them my people's number. So I remember my people's had called up to the place to talk to me. They was like, yeah, this spot just called you for a job. I'm like, what spot? She's like, it's called Custom Rubber. I'm like, that's crazy, because I just filled that application out like about 2 hours ago. So they're like, yeah. So I called the people back. They was like, yeah, if you can come in for an interview tomorrow with that work. I'm like, yeah, for sure. So I went in, and this lady named Angie, she was the HR at the time. And she was like one of them ladies, she ain't play no games. You feel me? You could just tell, like, she was one of them ladies, like, she was about business. And she was like, look, I'm going to give you a chance. She like, but just don't make me regret it. You feel me? And I was like, look, you ain't got to regret nothing. You know, and she gave me that chance, and I ran with it. I worked there for 9 years.
Wow. So wait, what year did you get out of prison?
I came home 2011.
2011. So you worked there all the way until what, 2020?
Yup, 2020, because they let me go. They let me go
during COVID, right?
Yup, they let me go right before that COVID stuff like really got to hitting for real though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when it was really starting to become a thing, you know, they let me go, and I was sick. I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm about to do. And I was on my way home, and I remember calling it was my fiance at the time, and I'm like, man, they just let me go. And she always knew I was one of them dudes that always figure things out. And she like, don't even worry about it. It's like, you gonna figure it out, you know what I'm saying? She like, and until then, you know what I'm saying, don't worry about it. I got us. You feel me? I'm like, all right, bet. So I was feeling a lot better. So as I'm driving, I'm thinking like, I got my 401k, but I didn't think I had that much money in there. So I called the lady. She like, I'm gonna call you back in about give me about an hour. I'm gonna run the numbers and I'm gonna call you back. So she called me back. She like, you got 18,000 in there. I'm like, 18. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, that's only this. And I right then and there, I was thinking tow truck. Like, oh, I can finally start my business. So I called a couple of my friends that was already in the towing game. I'm like, man, look, I got this money. What should I do? They're like, man, Eb, don't even think about it, man. Find you a truck and get in the game. Like, we got your back. I'm like, all right, bet. Found me a truck out in Chillicothe, Ohio. A guy was selling that was trying to get out to pretty much liquidate all this stuff. Got a truck for him. Got it back to the city. Spent the rest of the money just pretty much getting my company up and running. The little stuff that I needed, the insurance and all that stuff. And man, the rest was history.
Wow. So, in other words, you're saying you got out in prison in 2011, and then for 9 years, that's how that 401k built up.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you went to prison. It was probably the worst experience you've ever had, or at least one of the worst experiences you had, being away from your family and just thinking about what could have been. And then you get out, you stay on the straight and narrow, you're relentless, you're determined, and then when the world is in an uproar because of COVID in 2020, that kind of became your flashpoint moment. That was the moment where you actually jumped out of your original self and evolved into something greater and bigger because of what you already endured.
Right.
What you endured was basically your dirty truth. You know how it is when you're trying to apply for a job. A lot of times you can't, as a felon or someone that's been behind bars, you get stigmatized. You somehow overcame all that, and a lot of that was because of your driving, because you had the mindset to say, you know what, let's not tell it like it was, let's tell it like it is. And right now, I'm ready to change my life. So that's really powerful. And so many people have your situation or worse, and they can't even make that a reality in their mind. So just the fact that you were able to come out and be brand new, you know how people say, oh, you acting brand new. They like it's a bad thing, but that's a good thing.
Oh, for sure.
Somebody say, oh, you acting brand new. Yes, I am.
No, most definitely.
Because I'm not out here doing these types of things because, they always say, if you know better, you do better. And that was a transformational scenario and experience that you went through. So I give you kudos on that. Now, when you got into the 401k, you had to feel like that the world was your oyster because you, like you said, you always figured things out. So imagine being able to figure things out with $18,000.
Right, exactly, man. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, everything happened in God's perfect timing, bro. Because I feel I used to be like, dang, like when I first got into the touring guys, I used to say like, dang, I wish I could have did this earlier. But I felt like me having that job kind of shaped me also, though. You know what I'm saying? Because me being committed to that job, because it's like having a job like that, it was hard, though. But I had worked my way up through the ranks. I had started off as a mold setter. And I had met this guy named Bernie. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody really Bernie. He was one of them guys that was like, he had been there for like 18 years. He was like the head of a process. And then he just thought he just knew everything. And people was like, he had this real like I ain't gonna say attitude, but it was just like I'm the man type thing, like, you know what I'm saying. So, but I don't know what made him take a liking to me though. And one day we was in the back and he was working on one of my machines, and I'm sitting there and I'm paying attention because I pay attention to everything though. So while he doing his job, I'm kind of helping him, you know what I'm saying. And I'm kind of like, wait, like, well, why don't y'all do this, you know what I'm saying. And he kind of was looking at me like, he's like, man, you know what? He like, man, I think you should apply for the mold setting processing job. You know what I'm saying? I think you would be perfect for that because the way you catch on to things, And I was like, you know what, I apply for it. I wasn't really thinking too much of it at the time. So I wound up applying for it. Me and like 4 other people applied for the job, and I wound up scoring the highest on the test. And they wound up giving me a position, And my position was like a big part of that company, you know what I'm saying? Because me not doing my job resulted in the company making $10,000 a day or making $100,000 that day.
Wow.
So and like I say, I just always try to be the best at whatever I'm doing. I don't care if I'm at McDonald's flipping fries or making burgers. Like I'm gonna be the best at it. Be the best, believe that. Like, you know what I'm saying. So I had that same mentality going into the new position that I had, and I grew in the company. You know what I'm saying. I fell in love with the people of that company. You know what I'm saying. 'Cause they taught me a lot. This guy named Esteban, he was a guy, he couldn't even really speak English. You feel me? And he man. He taught me so much about just being consistent and so much about just life, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I believe that job kind of molded me and got me ready, you know what I'm saying, after I had left there, you feel me? So I took my same work ethic into the touring, you know what I'm saying? I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be consistent. I'm gonna work hard. I don't care what it is. I'm gonna just try to be the best. I'm gonna try to do everything by the books, everything right. And I believe God really blessed me for having that attitude. You feel me? So
yeah, that's so powerful. And you know what? I saw a video a couple years ago, I think it was, where you were talking about how your credit was horrible, and then you grew it and made it even better.
Yeah.
So how did you even get the mindset? Because most of us, especially in the inner city, we are not even taught the importance of credit. I know a lot of white people teach their kids, but how did you even get the desire to fix your credit?
I think, man, it just boils down to me, like, over the years, just learning how important it was. You had credit, because like we from the hood, like you just want the paper, the cash, like, you know what I'm saying. You can have a 2 points credit score, like, you know what I'm saying. Like if I got a couple $100,000, I'm like, man, I don't care what that credit score looking like, but then you start understanding like how important it is and how you actually build wealth, you know what I'm saying, by having good credit, So by me getting into the field I was in, and it was like pretty much like a cash flow business where I was seeing like big lump sums of money, you know what I'm saying? Because I went from making $500 a week to making $500 a day, So and I never been the type of dude that when I get money, it's burning my pocket. You know what I'm saying? I want to make this money make money. I want to make this money work for me. So first thing I thought about, like, my credit. I got to get my credit together. So I had reached out to a couple people that so-called say they was good at credit, and I had paid them some money to try to get my credit together. And I had got scammed out like a couple $1,000s or whatever.
Wow.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm tripping, man. I've been studying this stuff. Let me just apply what I've been studying. You know what I'm saying? Just do it myself.
Yeah.
So I wound up doing everything myself. You feel me? And like in less than like a year, I had went from like a 500 credit score to like a 750, like in less than a year.
Wow.
And I remember when I went to the dealership, like about 7 months ago, when I was going to get my new truck, and I went in there and I told the I want to get this truck. I want to put it in my business name. He's like, well, still got to pull your credit because, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna jumpstart the business credit with your credit. You know what I'm saying, by you being a personal guarantor for the business. So I'm like, all right, bet. So he went in the back. He came back with the keys in one hand. Was like, man, bro, you know what your credit score is? I'm like, it's probably about a 720 or 730, something like that. He's like, bro, you got an 805 credit score.
Wow.
I'm like, what? Man, but that made me feel so good.
Yeah.
And just, it's like, man, I try to make everything around me like inspire me or motivate me to go harder, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because in my head, I'm like, I never in a million years would have thought like I'd be this young black boy from Superior and St. Clair, you know what I'm saying, with a thriving business, 800 credit score, you know what I'm saying, a beautiful family, you know what I'm saying, like, yeah.
That's the American dream. I mean, and it's something that's unheard of for most people in the inner city, and especially when you had to go down to the bottom, all the way down to the bottom. That's extremely inspiring, man, and it's emotional too.
No, for sure, bro. Because I'm just thinking about it, bro. I'm like, man, like, God has brought me a long way, bro.
Yeah, yeah. When you got on the path to try to fix your credit, how were you able to do it in just such a short period of time? Because even 700 is hard to attain.
Man, right though, bro. Like, it was so crazy because, like I said, when at first, like, until I had actually started my business and I actually had the money to start, like, you know what I'm saying, paying for certain stuff that was on my credit, like, literally, like, I had, like me, I always think like this. If I got 100,000, right? If I got 100,000, and I can spend 75,000 of that money to put me in a better situation. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna spend $75,000 and I ain't gonna even lose no sleep over it. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I don't care if it's a 2 years or 3 years or 4 years from now, it's gonna be well worth the money spent. You know what I'm saying? So all the money that I was having, I was just paying off all this bad stuff on my credit. You know what I'm saying? And getting them secure credit cards and doing whatever and paying for the little apps where it builds you credit history. You know what I'm saying? I was doing all of that. You know what I'm saying? I was almost spending all my money I had, but I knew in the back of my head, like, it was gonna be well worth it. You know what I'm saying? And I remember when my credit first started rising, the first thing a person want to do is go out and buy something on their credit, man. Like, for me, when I first got my credit together, the first thing I did with my credit, I went out and bought my wife a car. You know what I'm saying? I was still driving in my little old tow truck everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I just, like, want to make sure she was good though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Plus, she had deserved it anyway though. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? For staying down and them nights and just motivating me and telling me I got this. I can do it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I want to get her together first. You know what I'm saying? I was so happy just doing that, just being able to just go into a dealership, you know what I'm saying, and just walk out with a new car.
Was that the white Mercedes Benz?
No, that was I had bought her an Infiniti, a Q60 Infiniti.
Q6. Oh wow.
That was the first car I had back. I bought her. Yep. Wow. And then she had because she wanted the Benz. We used to always talk about that Benz. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I knew at the time, like, I couldn't really afford the Benz, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, you know, we gonna get something we're gonna get you something raw though, you know what I'm saying? Then later on down the line, we're gonna get you the Benz, you feel me? So I had bought that car first, and I remember, like, she had that car for like a couple years, and I remember, like, okay, it's time for me to upgrade. So I went and got the car one day from her. I'm like, I gotta take the car, get an oil change, whatever the case may be. I drove it up to the Benz, I think it's Willoughby Benz, man. Went up there, I was like, I want to trade this in and get your new GLC 300, because that's the car my wife liked. So I was up there. I wasn't even up there that long, bro. They ran my credit and everything. They came back like, well, what color you want? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I want to go with the white one. You know what I'm saying? Wow. And I remember pulling up at the house with the Benz, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And like I was like, man, it be just feeling good just doing stuff for the people that, you know what I'm saying, that really love you and really push you, man.
See, the thing that I see about you is that I guarantee you, and you know this better than anybody, a lot of people come up to you and say, hey, how can I do this? How can I be that? And what? But the thing that they are missing, I think most people, you can correct me if I'm wrong, they're missing the fact that you have patience, you have a game plan, you have focus, and you have commitment. And that's what takes you to the next level. Not, oh, I made this many videos or I did that. And those are the rare qualities that people just don't have. And when you do have them, it's like 1 in a billion.
No, you most definitely, bro. Like, I tell people all the time, like, man, like they be seeing what I had now, but I be like, man, it takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of consistency. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of planning. You know, and it takes a lot of faith.
Yeah.
You feel me? Because there's a lot of times where you don't really know what your next move gonna take you. You feel me? But you hop out there on faith and you try to just put the action behind it. You feel me?
Yeah. And you know, speaking of faith, for those of you guys that don't know, the legendary Wayne Dawson is this guy's uncle.
No, for sure.
And he is, you know, just the other day he was talking about how you pretty much, you were a person of the church, you grew up in the church and things of that nature, and you just have those inspirational moments. And I love Mother Reed. She's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, she. I feel like nobody can sing like her. I wish they would let her join the choir because she's
right.
You know, I love.
She
when
love to
sings.
sing too.
Yeah, it's brilliant. But the great thing is, so you are actually part of what I consider to be the first family of Ohio, and you are really doing it great. Having said that, with Wayne being a pastor and you talking about faith, where does your faith come from, and what is your relationship with God? Because it all blends into what you've been able to accomplish.
Man, honestly, man, I think my faith comes from my grandparents, man. Cause like I said, when we was young, we was one of them families, bro. We ain't miss a Sunday like at church, like, you know what I'm saying. I don't Bible study, I don't care what it was. Like my grandmother had us in church. You feel me? And when you a kid, you don't really like understand, you know, why you be having to do this or why we doing this all the time, though. You feel me? But one thing I learned though, and like, man, once you raised up a certain way, bruh, it's like you always kind of come back to that, you know what I'm saying, like stuff like that all the time though. You feel me?
Yeah.
And you start to kind of realize as you get older, you start to understand like what it's all for. You feel me? So I believe a lot of my faith just come from my grandparents and them though. You know what I'm saying? And just seeing how they raised us. You feel me? And the stuff that they kind of endured. You feel me? And how God always created a way for them.
Yeah.
You know, like even when they ain't have much though. I be listening to my grandmother talk all the time about how much she was making back then. And I was like, what? How was we even eating every day? My grandmother cooked us a meal every single day, bro. Like every day, a home cooked meal at the end of the night, every day. Breakfast, probably every other day. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, man, it boils down. It can only be God. You feel me? You know, so that's why I think a lot of my faith comes in that. And it's crazy you had brought up Wayne, man, because like Wayne, I don't think Wayne and my auntie know how much they also fueled the fire in me when it comes to me standing on a straight and narrow and me, you know what I'm saying, being consistent though. You feel me? Because when we was younger and my mother was kind of in the streets, you know what I'm saying, I thank God, man, he brought her, my mother a testimony too. You know, because my mother was one of the mothers like you be like, man, but like, you didn't think she was gonna never like really, you know what I'm saying, change her life around though. You feel me? And to see what she has accomplished today, got her own house and driving a nice car, and you know, like stuff like that fuel me, man. Cause I be like, man, I be just praising God all the time though. Like, man, like it can only be you. You feel me?
Yeah.
But back to Wayne though and my auntie though, man. Like I remember we was kids. My auntie used to always come get us. Me, my brother, my sister. Like, you know, so my auntie ain't had kids back then. You feel me?
Right.
But it takes a lot for a person, man. And you know it's only love though, bro, because it takes a lot for a person to go get some kids that ain't even theirs and make sure they go to the movies every Sunday. Make sure they come spend the night over their house and we go out to eat and we, man, what?
Yeah.
Like that's why when they be like, when they be calling me or they might need me to handle something or take care of something, and they be like, what you need? I'm like, man, I don't need nothing for it, because like all the stuff that you didn't did for us over the time, I'm just repaying the debt. Like, you feel me?
Yeah.
You know, and with Wayne, man, like just seeing like what God have done in his life, and how far God has brought him and has blessed him, and you know, just when he don't know how much his words mean. When he used to say, like, when I first came home and he used to see me like just kind of working and going back and forth to work, and he'd be like, man, listen, I'm proud of the path you on. You feel me? Yeah. Like, man, that stuff right there stick with you. You know what I'm saying? You hear it coming from a person that didn't been through life. You feel me? And then got blessed. You know, and you be like, man, you know what? That means a lot.
Yeah,
that means a lot.
You know, this reminds me of when Kobe Bryant was coming up, and he really, really wanted to be like Michael Jordan. And then what he realized is that in order to be anywhere close to him or even have a chance, he had to do the work. And that's what you've done. See, you were very, very inspired by Wayne, and you saw these things, and you didn't take any of those things and get jealous. You took it as being, oh, I can do that too. This is a blueprint as to how to do this. I see the life he's living. I see that he's getting more God-fearing, and his faith has taken him to these next levels. All I have to do is replicate that, replicate his belief, replicate his dedication and commitment to excellence, and I have a shot at being there. And that's exactly what you've done. And because of that, you've been able to uplift and elevate people. There's going to be people that's probably already now that's going to say, you know what? You don't realize the impact you had on me, just like you're saying about Wayne. So it comes full circle, and that is, again, using your life experiences to serve other people. And I applaud you for that. I really do.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you are exceptional with that. Guys, I hope you are really enjoying this conversation. Sharing your dirty truth is a very important thing to do. But being able to turn your trash into treasure is a very high level skill. And I want to offer you the opportunity to be able to work with me to understand just how to turn your trash into treasure and generate leads from your story. So email me at dy@deanteyoung.com for more information. All right, so like I said, man, your story is overwhelmingly powerful, and it resonates so deeply. But now the nitty gritty. So you get out of prison, and then you go to this job, and you're there for 9 years. So 2020 happens, and that's where you start getting into the towing industry. And your credit was really good. And then is that how you got the business started with the cars and all that?
Yeah. So what I wound up doing is so like I said, I got my truck, and I'm working, I'm getting my credit together, whatever. You know, you always want to elevate whatever you're doing. You figure you always got to think like taking things to the next level. Mm-hmm. So like I say, my first truck was like a 1999 F550 flatbed. It was old, you know, but it was reliable though. You feel me? So I worked that truck, and once my credit got to getting decent, I'm like, okay, now I need something a little bit newer. You feel me? Mm-hmm. But by then I was stacking my money also though. So I wound up finding a newer truck online. I wound up, man, I done been through a lot of, man, listen, I'd had a lot of stuff, like, you know what I'm saying? So I had in between everything happening, before I even bought the newer truck, me and one of my friends from childhood, he was in the towing business also, and he had a tow lot not too far from where I was staying at. Mm-hmm. And so we was kicking it on a daily, and he was like, man, if you ever like need anything, or, you know what I'm saying, like whatever the case may be, he like, man, we can do some business together, whatever. I'm like, all right, bet. So I pretty much stayed up under him for a while, and he kind of mentored me with a lot of things, and we started a scrap yard together. And we had went out and bought equipment, man. We was spending thousands on heavy equipment, like on excavators and on skid steers and like all type of stuff just to make that business thrive. You feel me? Yeah. So we did that for a couple years. Ran my money up off of that, and took the money and pretty much purchased me a newer truck, and I drove that truck for a while. And then after that, I wound up buying my a newer truck, even a newer truck than that. You feel me? But I think through the whole thing, my whole mind frame through everything was like always elevate. You know what I'm saying? Always be willing to elevate. Always be willing to learn. Always be willing to grow. Always be willing to accept criticism.
Yeah.
You know, and don't be scared of the unknown.
Yeah.
You know, because like when you into this business, like it like I think with any business, it can kind of get kind of scary sometimes. Like when you gotta invest $80,000-$90,000 into some new equipment, you know what I'm saying, and go in debt. But I be telling people all the time, man, don't be scared, bro. Don't be scared, like, you know what I'm saying, because sometimes you gotta make them leaps to get over that hump and to get somewhere where you thought you could never imagine.
Yeah.
You feel me?
At what point did the whole idea for going online, how did that manifest?
Well, it's crazy because ever since I was young, I always been into like cameras and stuff. You feel me? My grandfather, he used to be a photographer, and I used to love taking pictures, man. Like I remember my grandmother had bought me this little camera back in the day, where you hook it up to the VCR and you can record.
Oh yeah,
you can record on
camcorder.
there. Yeah, y'all. So I had one of them, and everything come full circle. So, I could probably about 8-9 years ago. Probably a little bit longer than probably about 8-9 years ago. This guy from Cleveland named Steve Cable Jr. He a film director. So they were shooting a movie in Cleveland. So they had for dirt bikes, and I always been to dirt bikes all my life. Mm-hmm. So he had reached out to one of my friends, was like, "Look, we need some extras to ride dirt bikes. Would y'all be willing to come? It's a paid thing." So my friend Smoke hit me up, and he also got a touring company also. So he hit me up. He like, man, listen, these people doing this movie. They'd like to be a part of it, and we get paid. So I'm like, all right, cool. So we went on scene. So it was supposed to be an acting thing, but like once again, like, man, when God got favor in your life, bro, he always put you around the right people or the right situations or where you need to be. You feel me? So when I got on set, I was more intrigued with the behind the scenes. I'm like, man, this is what I want to do. Like I love like creating stuff through visions, you feel me, and bringing it to life on film. So I was hanging around with all the behind the scenes people, and they took a liking to us, man. They fell in love with us, like, you feel me, and they were just teaching us so much as we gone. So after that was over with, I immediately went out and bought camera equipment and whatever I thought I needed to do to start this journey. So I started creating like little skits and stuff online. And it wasn't really going nowhere, but I just loved it doing it. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So fast forward, like once I had got my towing stuff off the ground, I wasn't even filming none of my towing content, period, though. I was still doing like little skits here and there, little funny stuff or whatever the case may be. But I was like, you know what? Once I get my new truck, I'm gonna put some cameras on it, you know, and I'm gonna start filming myself doing my day-to-day towing and repoing stuff. And the first video I actually posted of me doing a repo went viral. You know, we was on our way to Virginia Beach. Wow. And I had posted a video before we had left. And we on the freeway, my phone going crazy, man. Like, so everybody in the car looking at me like who is trying to contact you? Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. I'm like, man, I don't know, my phone it's just going crazy the whole time. So we get to our first rest stop, so I look at my notifications, and it's the video that I had posted. And it was like 2 hours, and it was like at 70,000 views.
Wow.
And I'm like, man, what the... I'm like, this is crazy. So a few days went past and the video just keep going crazy. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna post another one. Just see, like, cause I did another repo, but I never posted that one either. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna post that one a few days from now and see if I get the same reaction from it. Posted that video. That video did 1 million views the first day.
Wow. And
I was like, man, I got something here, man. I'm like, this my... I think this is my lane right here, you know. And fast forward, man, a year and a half later, I done grew over close to 4 million subscribers and followers through all my platforms. You feel me? Just from me doing what I like to do.
So when you put that first video up and you were going to, you said Virginia Beach?
Yeah.
So what year was that?
That was 2023. So that was 2023. That was August 2023 because that was my daughter's birthday.
August of 23.
Yep.
So that's when everything just exploded.
Everything exploded, man.
And you got to 1 million, because it's hard to get to 1 million subscribers.
Man,
and views.
Bruh, I ain't even have a YouTube page at the time. I ain't have a YouTube. I ain't have a Facebook. I ain't have a TikTok at the time. You feel me? All I had was an Instagram. So my videos going crazy, right? So a guy was like, man, you got a YouTube? I'm like, no. He like, bro, he like, don't post no more videos. Start a YouTube and start posting your videos on YouTube before like somebody else get to using your content. You know what I'm saying? And start posting your. So I'm like, all right, bet. Like that's a good idea. So mind you, I started me a YouTube page and I started looking at it into like, okay, how do you even get paid or how do you even? So you had to meet these requirements. So I ain't even thinking that my page gonna even blow up that much. I'm thinking like, man, if I get to like 1,000 subscribers, I'm happy. So I post the video on YouTube get to going crazy, like the ones on Instagram, and my followers just going up, and I'm looking at them daily, like I'm almost at 1,000 followers in almost a day and a half. So I called my friend, like, bro, I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers in a day and a half, man. I'm like, they about to monetize my page, like if I keep at this route. But I'm thinking in my head, like I keep telling myself it's gonna slow down, like it's gonna eventually slow down. It never slowed down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Before you know it, I was at 10,000 by the end of the week. Before you know it, I was at 50,000 by the end of the month. You know what I'm saying? I was at 100,000 by like in 2 months. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it just kept going up. Before you know it, my YouTube surpassed my Instagram. You know, my Instagram, my YouTube hit like 1.5 million.
Wow.
In like probably like 9 months. Like, you feel me? It was crazy, bro.
They just start throwing cash at you.
Man, right? They monetized my page like. From the moment I posted my first video, my page was monetized by my second month.
Wow.
You know, posting videos on YouTube. So anything after that second month, I started getting paid for it.
So why do you think you posting that kind of content just took off so much?
Man, honestly, bro, because I always been the type that even when I was doing like the little skits and they wasn't going nowhere, I always kind of try to study like that algorithm or study why like platforms do good, you know. And I ain't gonna lie, I think it boils down to the content that it is, though. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like I do reposts, so people love drama.
I was just gonna say
you know what I'm
that.
saying? People love
Just
drama.
gonna say that.
You know, and like one thing I learned about the internet, bro, like you can get 1 million views though, but it's also about the engagement a lot.
Yep.
You feel me? So on my platform, you got people that hate me. You know what I'm saying? They can't stand the repo, man. I'm out here destroying lives. That's what they say. I'm out here destroying lives. Then you got people that be like, well, he just doing his job. You know what I'm saying? So it's a mixture. So I ain't even got a comment in my comments. You gonna have 1,000 people going back and forth in the comments, bro, about why they hate it or why they love it or they arguing amongst each other. Like, you feel me? So the engagement, when YouTube see like that engagement or any other platform see you getting a lot of engagement, they gonna push whatever out 10, 15 times more because they feel like this is what keeping people on the platform.
Yeah.
You feel me? So I believe like because my engagement is so high on my platforms, YouTube and Instagram recommend it to people that don't even follow me or people on the other side of the world. You feel me? Because it's crazy. I get people from Korea or Australia message me like, man, I love your videos. Like, I'm a big fan. Like, and it'd be crazy. Like, man, these people from Africa, people from, you know what I'm saying, all over the globe, but, like, reaching out to me. Like, I'm like, this is wild. Like,
Korea, I could just picture. Hey, you're Togot. I like Togot.
man, bro, they sending me pictures. They tow trucks that look like cars. I'm like, man, this is wild.
That's
though.
what I'm saying. You're such a star, man. You know that's hilarious, but it's genius. It's pure genius. Have you received a lot of, like, I know you said you got a lot of negative comments online. What about like around here? Anyone around here?
Man, honestly, bro, and this is crazy. I thought I was gonna get a lot of like hate because I like a lot of my content is filmed within the inner city of Cleveland. You know what I'm saying, the surrounding areas of Cleveland. You feel me? So I thought I'd get a lot of people that actually like hate. But it's crazy because it's like the opposite though. Like I get a lot of love from people, but I think because I'm very transparent with my platform also. Because I show my life. I show where I done came from. I ain't scared to talk about, you know what I'm saying, what I done went through to get to where I'm at. And I think it's kind of inspires a lot of people because up until my platform, like I can't really even name a person that even have a platform as close to big as mine, you know what I'm saying, around here that's actually, you know what I'm saying, got YouTube plaques and, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. You feel me?
Yeah.
And it's to know that, okay, this guy from the hood, he done changed his life around, he doing this and doing that and he making it. I think it's more inspiring than anything though, you know what I'm saying, outside of the content, you know. And plus you got to read between the lines when you know what I'm saying, when you kind of looking at what I'm doing, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because it's bigger than just me posting content about me reporting or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You gotta look at the bigger picture and the bigger metrics behind it.
We always talk about, whenever we're looking at your videos, we always talk about, man, that's dangerous. Like, I mean, how are you able to do this? Because you know how people, they'll get very violent taking
No, most definitely though. But I think it's a mixture of me and my vibe, man. You know, because I'm from the streets, bro. Like, so it's like I done been in just about every dangerous situation imaginable, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? To been in the midst of gunfights and stuff like that growing up, and robbing and stealing cars, you know. So when I be pulling up, like, it'd be like it's just like a normal day's work.
So you're never scared or anything, huh?
No, it be them times where, you know what I'm saying, your adrenaline get the pumping though. You know what I'm saying? Because you always got to be aware of your surroundings, and you never know what people might be going through, what people might do. You feel me? And I always keep that on the back of my head though. Like I ain't God to nobody though. You know what I'm saying? So I can bleed just like the next person can bleed though. You feel me? So at the end of the day, I just always try to be conscious of that in my delivery.
Yeah, I love the thing they always say. I was gonna pay you Friday.
No, I
like Friday. I got the money right now. And I like the one guy you said, you probably did this a million times, but there was a guy that says, "Hey, brother, look, I got the paper back there." You say, "Go get it."
Go get it.
And then you said,
It's my favorite line. Go get it.
when you did that, first of all, you have extraordinary comedic timing. I mean, you are so hilarious. And I don't know how you're able to have all these skills at one time, but it's great, man. I mean, you're ruining other people's day, but you're making a lot of people's day too.
No,
because,
for real though.
Because it's entertainment. You know, I mean, seriously, I got to give you,
but it's
all
crazy
your
though,
flowers.
bro. Cause I just want to take this thing like to a whole nother level though. You feel me? Like, even when it comes to, cause I meet so many good people, you know, and I think my approach to this profession is, that makes me good at it is because I'm conscious, man. You know what I'm saying? I know everybody's situation ain't the same though. You know, I know it's some people that neglect their bills, and I know it's some people that done fell on hard times. That's why a lot of times I try to be conscious of that. You know what I'm saying? And also feel a vibe out. You know, and that's why I love, like, I own my own show. You feel me? I do my own thing. I own my own business. So if I pull up on an older guy or a single mother or a single father, and I feel like, man, no, this ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna, the money ain't everything. Like, I'm gonna fall back. Like, you feel me? Like, man, you know what, bro? Just be careful out here, because there's other repo companies that, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna hold back. You feel me?
Wow. That's you know what? Just you having that self-awareness is amazing. Self-awareness is so important. I do want to give you also your kudos, because you are in a great relationship. I saw your marriage video. I think it was from 2021, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I just got married 2 weeks ago.
That's what's up, man.
And,
congratulations.
Thank you. And I had no intention of ever being in another committed relationship. I was telling people I was just going to have one night stands for the next 20 years, but my wife, she made herself undeniable, and she's self-aware.
For sure.
It's hard to find someone that can say, okay, babe, that was my fault. I was wrong. That almost never happens. And because she has that self-awareness, she made herself undeniable.
No, for sure. Most definitely.
And so I'm going to tell you something you never knew, but I didn't even know that you were on the internet. I didn't know you were a star or anything like that. But what I did know is I would see you pull up at church, and I said, man, that's a beautiful couple. Wait a minute, they're coming in here. And then you would come into church, be so polished, look, just so nicely dressed, and you just had like this stately quality about yourself, like,
No, appreciate it.
And you would just sit down, and I'm just like, well, I wonder who that is. And I would always see you guys walking hand in hand. I'm just like, I wonder who that is. And that's, I just, said, oh, I don't know who it is, but I like their vibe, the way they move. And then months later, when I was working with your auntie, she was like, yeah, my nephew. I'm like, your nephew? Who? And then she was like, you ever see this couple that comes in? And I'm thinking to myself, is that the real polished couple that I was thinking? and, that just don't really say anything, but you guys just look so good together. And then when she told me, I was like, what? So my thing is, I didn't know any of this other stuff, but I saw you exuding class and also character. So that should tell you everything, because a lot of times people will come up to you just because you're a star. I didn't even know who you
that's
were,
what's up, bro.
and then that's when I was just like, wow. And I said, oh my god, this guy's hilarious. I started doing a reality show way back in 2008 called A Date with Deante. And if I showed you these videos, you would be like, what? Because they're crazy. It's like Girls Gone Wild meets Jerry Springer. I mean, people did drugs on the show. People had sex on the show. If I showed you these videos, you would be laughing your ass off.
Oh, no, for sure.
But I did it for 6 years, from 2008 to 2013. So when I started seeing your comedy, I was like, that's so brilliant. Like, that's not just funny to be funny. It's brilliant. You got to have the timing. So I give you so much credit for that, man. You are better than you realize you are.
No, appreciate it,
greater.
bro. And what's so crazy, bro? We're gonna take a step back for 1 second, because it's crazy you said it about, you know what I'm saying, like marriage, you know what I'm saying? Because I felt that same way. Like, before I had met my wife, I was pretty much like, man, I think out my last relationship, I'm like, bruh, I'm not getting in no more relationships. I'm like, I'm about to just do my thing. I'm like, and they gonna have to deal with it. You feel me?
Right.
You know, but I told God I wasn't going, you know what I'm saying, I wasn't gonna block my blessing either, though, you know. And when I met my wife like probably about 4 months after I had got out of my relationship. When I had met her, I was like pretty much like, man, listen, I told her like, man, listen, I ain't really for no relationship though. And she was like, yeah, cool, you know. And we wound up meeting up at a park one day. We wound up having a long conversation. We wound up talking, and that was pretty much like after that conversation, that was like I never missed a day with her, you know. Yeah. Like it's like when you just know, man, like, you know what I'm saying, like this probably the person I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with, though, you know what I'm saying. Not to say everything is peaches and cream, though, you know what I'm saying, but when you got a person, man, where y'all can have a disagreement, you know, but then y'all can actually like sit down and talk it out. Yeah. You know, and y'all both on the same page, and y'all both just want to love each other. Y'all just want to just continue to just, you know what I'm saying, love each other life up, you know. Because like I ain't had no kids when I'm like I say I don't have no biological kids though, you know what I'm saying. When I met her, she had a little girl that was 3, and I think Deante was like 15 at the time.
Wow.
And I ain't know how that was gonna fit either though. I'm coming into the picture with like she got 2 little girls. I can see they're the boys. Like, she got 2 little girls. But one thing for sure, bro, I just always been like a loving person though. You know what I'm saying. I think people's system vibes though. You feel me? Because it's like from the first day I met them, it's like everything just kind of meshed together. You feel me? And we just grew together. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just been all love ever since though.
Yeah. I think that's beautiful, man, because it's something that's almost unheard of in this world, is to hear anybody talk that fondly about their partner. It's always like, oh, she's a headache, or she's a nutcase, or something like that. But, you know, it's like Barack Obama said, we can disagree without being disagreeable.
No, for sure.
You know, and I just think that's so powerful, man.
No,
I do want to ask you one very important question. This is probably the most important question. Of all of the hard things that you've gone through in your whole life, the stuff that just sucked, the stuff that just made you want to just give up sometimes, what of those things are you happy happened to you now?
Man, I think jail, bro. I think jail, man, because I say every day in jail, like, man, I just want to go home. 365 days a year, probably 3-4 times out the day, I like, man, I just want to go home, man. But sometimes, man, like, I just feel like, man, sometimes God put you through certain things, you know, to bring you out in a different way. You know what I'm saying? And I used to always just ask God, man, like, just continue to just walk with me, continue to just mold me into the man that you need me to be, into the man that I know I can be, you know. And I feel like going to jail probably saved my life, man. You know, because I was into a little bit of everything, and when you live in that life, like I say, the worst is inevitable. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't make it out. You know, so to be able to make it out from that, like, I just thank God, man. I just be happy that everything, you know what I'm saying? If my life had to turn out, if that's what I had to go through for my life to turn out like this now, I'm happy with it.
Oh man, that's powerful. As a matter of fact, I think that's gonna be the name of this episode. Going to jail saved my life.
No, for sure, bro.
That's powerful. If you could have any type of energy around you, what would it be?
Man, I just love happy energy, bro. I love people I'm a giver, bro. So I love having people that's givers around me, you know. Um, that and I just love having people because me, bro, I'm one of them people. I'm just a conscious person, and I love to love though. You know what I'm saying? I'm a people's person also though. You feel me? So when I got people around me that giving out that good energy and they, you know what I'm saying, like we just trying to get to the next level and we just trying to love each other and man, bring it on. Bring it on.
I love that, man. I love that. Now, finally, what's your next move?
Honestly, my next move right now, like I'm so focused on my content right now, just trying to level that up. You feel me? Business wise, man, clothing line. I'm about to open. I just went yesterday, took a class to get my dealer's license because I'm about to open an indoor car lot up. And just taking my towing business to the next level also though. You feel me? I want this thing to be something I can pass down to the next generation though. You feel me? Something that's gonna feed people for years to come. You know, so doing pretty much my next biggest moves, man. Just really just leveling up the towing company, continue to coming with the content for the fans and the viewers out there, and the car lot thing, and like whatever else God got in the works for me, I'm with it, man.
To God be the glory, man. I appreciate you so much, brother.
No, man, appreciate you.
That discussion with Eben Reed is one of my all-time favorites. He is all about faith and family, and you can't go wrong with either one of those things. He has a beautiful relationship and unbelievable business, and he is a master role model for many. Eben, thank you so much, and you deserve your toe goat status, and keep us laughing and keep us very, very motivated. And to the rest of my viewers, I want to tell you one important thing. Always remember to embrace your dirty truth.